My name is Angela McCuiston, and today we're going to be talking about flute embouchure. One of the first questions I get when I'm trying to teach a new student is how to set up your embouchure. Your embouchure is this space around your mouth, the formation that your lips take to be able to produce a sound on an instrument. It can be a trumpet embouchure, a flute embouchure, a trombone embouchure, but the only people who don't have embouchures are percussionists, though some might tell you otherwise. So to get a proper flute embouchure, there's only really one thing that you don't want to do. And that one thing is to pinch. You do not want to pinch. Flute players should look like nobody else in the orchestra or the band. If you look around and your embouchure, your mouth setup looks like somebody else in the band, you're probably not doing it right. That's about the only thing that I have to say about what it should not look like. So if you look like this and you're pinching, you're smiling, you're doing it wrong. You don't play oboe. That's what oboes look like. That's what trumpets look like. That's what other people look like. Flute players should look very relaxed. Flute players, on the other hand, have a tendency to be very, overachievers. We tend to work hard. That's kind of our personality as a stereotype, and it's there for a reason. But to be honest, flute should not be difficult. It shouldn't be difficult to play this instrument. We tend to make it a lot harder than it is, and so I'm going to go about teaching you how I teach flute embouchure. Okay, if you take your head joint off, this is called the head joint, you'll see that there's a lip plate right here. Right here, this is the longer edge, and this is the shorter edge, right? And it goes this way. It does not go this way. It goes to your right, okay? So what you do is you can see that this is curved, right? It fits perfectly under your lip. So you can see how I put it there. My lip, it's very important that this goes over the lip plate. You do not put this on your lip, you put it under your lip, and that's very important. When you put it underneath your lip, right now, can you see this? I've covered about the first third of this hole with my lip. So if I push down on it, well, you can see right there is where it was in line. So you should be able to feel that part of your lip right underneath, right here, okay? And now the way that I teach is that I tell people it's kind of like, when you were a kid and you told your mom said, no, you can't have candy before bed, you have to have your dinner first. And what'd you do? You pouted. You stuck out your bottom lip and you probably stamped your foot and you I want my candy. That's kind of how you play the flute. You stick your bottom lip out. Because if you suck it in, it doesn't work. And I also teach, there's something called the beaker face. If you just Google the beaker face, my blog post about this will probably come up. And I'll give you the address at the very end. But if you've ever seen Beaker the Muppet, you'll know he's the guy that, he's got the skinny head with the flaming hair. And what he does is he's actually got a really great flute embouchure. So if you want to have the beaker face, which is actually a little bit more than is necessary, but he actually has his corners pulled down, and that's actually how I play. And I'm not trying to get a whole bunch of mini-me's here, so you don't actually have to look exactly like this. The point is that the only thing you don't want to do is pull your corners back. You should have your face be very relaxed. When you play, it should be very easy. The higher you go, the more relaxed you should get. I understand that's the exact opposite of what you think. I'll demonstrate that in a later video. But to get set up, this goes right underneath, and you pretend like you're spitting rice. Or you've got like a hair on your tongue. What do? And you try to get it off, right? That's the size of the hole that this is called the aperture. That's the size of the hole that you need to have, right? You'll see my face is really relaxed. It's not. It doesn't come out very well. So if you can relax your face. In fact, if I take it away and look like I'm doing nothing, that's probably even better. Right? Jean Ferrandi, who's an amazing flute player I had the privilege of talking to, said that that's exactly how he teaches that. He said that your embouchure should be very natural and very free. Basically, you shouldn't look like you're doing a whole lot of anything. So this should not be tight. Your control comes from here, not from here. It comes from here. And that we'll get into that in a little later video about how to use this, right? So if you're going to put your flute back together, right? And you'll see how I set up my face. And I'll let you see from the side. It's not pulled back. Okay? So what I teach is that there's something, if you think of like an airplane runway, a flute requires a runway, just like an airplane does. So I like to use the example of a aircraft carrier. And an aircraft carrier has that long deck, and the planes go flying off, right? Well, they have to have that runway to be able to build up enough momentum and be able to fly. Well, your bottom lip is your version of a runway. And your runway has to be long enough for your planes, aka your air, to fly, for the sound to come out. So if the runway is too short, what happens? The planes go in the ocean. If your runway here is too short, you get this. Or you could get that. I've seen plenty of people who do it that way, but this is just an easier version. That's too short. Is just right. So from the side, too short. Just right. So you can see the difference. So you want to blow along the inside wet part of your lip. Right here. Inside, wet part. Right there. That's what you want to blow across. So you pout and frown. Of course you can do without the frowning part. And I highly recommend that you do this in front of a mirror, because 9 times out of 10, you have no idea what you're doing. We all think we know what we look like, and we all think we know what we're doing. And then you go look in the mirror and you find out, oh, that's not even close. I'm not doing what I thought at all. And there's no problem with that. You know, when I was first learning to play, I would go down to the school bathroom, because it was after school and there's nobody there. So I'd go down to the school bathroom and I'd stand on my tippy toes and I'd look in the mirror, and I would spend an hour in the bathroom just checking out what I was doing and was it what I thought. What does my embouchure look like? What does my aperture look like? How do my hands go? So get really familiar with using the mirror. All right. So that's how to set up your flute embouchure. If you'd like more information, you can go to my website at www.musicstrong.com. If you put in the search "the beaker face," it should be musicstrong.com/the-beaker-face. That's the article I've written on flute embouchure. You can also just Google "the beaker face," and I'm sure it'll be one of the first that come up. You can also follow me on Twitter at FluteAngel. That's FLUTEANJEL. And you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/musicstrong. You can send me an email if you've got other questions or would like to see a topic discussed. Shoot me a line. It's Angela@musicstrong.com. Thanks.